Hi, this is Taryn Grome, editor of Pharma Voice. We met with numerous inspirational thought leaders at this year's DIA annual conference as part of our Editors Take video series. I hope you enjoyed this discussion.
In this episode, we spend a few minutes with Abhishek Shankar, Vice President and Head Life Sciences North America, HCL Technologies. How does a dedication to providing more value for clients translate into patient-centricity, which is guiding most companies' business strategies of late?
Sure, it's an interesting question which is being addressed by a smorgasbord of various players in the industry, not just the payers, providers, pharma companies, but even companies like HCL. It's been a question which has been there for a while, but it's being addressed differently because the patients are drawing out a lot more in terms of the decision on the care continuum than they have ever before. And a lot of the drivers of driving healthcare are now pointing to the patient significantly. I'll give you an example of how an HCL is working towards value being driven towards patient centricity, specifically in the case of chronic care. And we do know that a lot of chronic care management will largely be driven by behavioral and management and the psychology side of things. One of the things we've just done with in the endocrinology space, in the diabetes space, is to design a very innovative population health management solution where, through a combination of great user experience as well as analytics in terms of adherence of usage of drugs, we've been able to see some significant upside in terms of the treatment value which one of our clients' key diabetes drugs is delivering. And you'd be surprised that for a population of more than 30,000, we've seen that the cost of delivering this population health management, driving towards patient centricity, is phenomenal. And the value is not just upon the insurance to be focused on patient centricity through driving costs down, but this is a program run by pharma. And so it makes all the more sense for drug companies to start looking at patient centricity through population health management, as an example.
As a company dedicated to innovation, how do you inspire intrapreneurial thinking across your organization?
Well, quite honestly, we don't inspire. It sort of comes naturally. And I'll tell you how. It's a journey which I would say is at least a decade old. And HCL had the good fortune of finding one of the cultural drivers called employees first and customers second. And in short, it was a mechanism to get out of the way of employees. So management got out of the way of employees, and that's when magic happened. Innovation is not driven by management, it's driven by getting out of the way of people who can use their discretionary time to innovate. And we discovered some very interesting things. I'll just give you a quick story. I was in one of our global delivery centers, and this lady who actually manages the database for a large pharma company who has a blockbuster drug in the space of the Hep C virus. And I saw a picture of a middle-aged couple over there. And I really asked her as to, why do you have a picture of this lady who was called Ethel? And she said, I'm 5,000 miles away. This lady, she got into the initial clinical trial of this Hep C drug. Today she's completely cured, and her story was heartwarming. And she said, this is the only way I can stay close to the larger purpose while managing the database of a trial which will get this particular drug to market fast. We suddenly discovered that by removing management from bureaucracy and others, that gives the discretionary opportunity for employees to focus on things which lead to some really grassroots kind of innovation.
Technology is dramatically changing the ecosystem of the life sciences industry. How is the cloud transforming operations?
Sure. So first of all, cloud is transforming operations across industry in a very similar way. So we've sort of, the world has waxed eloquent about elasticity and converting CapEx to OpEx. And all of those benefits are very, very real for our industry, which is the health and life sciences industry. There are a few things which are uniquely poised from a technology perspective in the cloud dimension, which can benefit our industry more than it would in other industries. And the first one, counterintuitively, is in the space of compliance. And just because of the standardization of technology and platforms across the multiple layers of cloud, we can capture events, incidents, and data in a much more seamless fashion and thereby be compliant in terms of establishing the right audit trails and others, which in a traditional world we were not finding it so easy simply because of the diversity of the technology landscape. I think cloud, for once, counterintuitively, as I said, is actually supporting compliance and validation versus what it is traditionally been like. Now that obviously lends, at least for our industry, to sort of look for an opportunity to move away from our siloed world and really look at the cloud to sort of put its lights on all of the, what we use as a word called the heat map of this industry. So today you'll see large amounts of parallel processing happening in the genomic space, and FDA itself uses the Amazon cloud for safety. I think there's an opportunity to cover some missing ground on spaces which are in the clinical space and things which are traditionally extremely validated. And I think the next few months would see some interesting opportunities in that space. So I'm proud to announce that HCL's initiative in this space, along with Amazon, would be a game changer in many ways. And I would really encourage you to sort of look out for the clinical solution, which we are launching along with AWS, and time is now.
For more information on this topic, visit our Thought Leaders website.
For more Editors Take videos from the 2015 DIA Annual Conference, visit www.pharmavoice.com. Thanks for joining us.